Welcome back to Arizona Camp Life. Today we're going to be installing this battery box on this pop-up camper, and we hope you enjoy. So first step, we need to remove this existing little aluminum platform. This was the battery box for the brakes, but somebody had removed the original mount for the battery. So let's get this off and we'll get going. Old box removed. I already had a coffee today, but I just feel very tired. So Red Bull, if you're watching, thank you. So basically, when I have the battery hooked up, this will go to the positive of the battery, then this will be connected through that breakaway switch right here. So basically it'll be something like this. So that way we have positive, we have 12 volts coming to this switch ready to activate. Then when this is pulled out, it'll send 12 volts to the brakes. So I'm thinking this can go back on where it was. I might try to tap that thread here and mount that, and then that way I know where that's supposed to be. Seems pretty good. So all I'm doing now is just using these big cables I had. I'm going to be testing the brake controller setup here. So what I'm going to do, instead of jacking up the trailer and rotating the wheel to make sure the brakes come on, I'm going to read DC amps through this connection here. And I know from before the brakes draw about 4 amps, I think. All right. So I don't really see. Okay, there we go. So that's about normal current for just the very few things like the radio, maybe the CO monitor, that kind of thing. So now when I pull this, there we go. There it is. So I pulled my breakaway. Amps went up to show that the brakes engaged, put it back, brakes are disengaged. So the way that this is set up is how I'm going to move forward now. So that's a good test. I'm going to now be doing the very first step. I'm going to be crimping these two wires together for the power to the brakes, and then after that I'll move on to crimping on the extension wires onto the battery positive and negative to get into our box. Extension leads, tug test passed. I'm gonna put heat shrink on that and that'll be done. Both of these turned out good, so we're gonna move on to getting the box mounted, and then these wires will run up inside there. I removed the propane tanks so I could get a distance off of this rack, and I have the battery in here, and I'm just trying to get a layout for where I want things to go. So I have the shut off. I'm thinking I'll put that here on the driver's side. Then I need to locate my holes to attach to the frame. I also need to locate the holes for the power wires to come up into the switch. But yeah, so we'll keep moving on here. I got the box holes drilled out larger, so now I'm gonna drill all the way into the frame. Wish me luck. We had a brief intermission there. I messed up on the holes, and I had a tap that could work, but it's not tapered, and so my wife was out and I had her get me the proper type of tap, and it's worked perfectly. So I have these two holes tapped so far, and I have these two to go, so we'll continue doing that. I have all 4 holes tapped now. In the time that I had waited for my wife to get the drill, I had installed these strain reliefs. They're like watertight ones, so that way the positive and negative wires can come up through there. They'll be sealed off from the environment that way. Okay, now I'm just looking to see how close my holes are. I would love to mount this to the trailer and keep moving, but this is the next step, really. So get working on that. I made up all of the leads. You can see everything's terminated here. It just took a while. What I need to do now is figure out how I'm going to hold the battery down, and then get some hardware for the switch. And then I think it's pretty much done, honestly. We're pretty close here, so let's keep going. So the install video ends abruptly because I ran out of battery in the GoPro, and I also didn't have the battery bracket part that I needed. So a few days later, I get the part in and complete the install. This is the final walkthrough of the install, showing all the parts installed in the box, and then doing a test of the kill switch, and then also showing the light on the outside of the camper works now. Guys, that's a wrap for today's video. We hope you enjoyed this part 1 of the Coleman Sequoia work. Stay tuned for part 2 and we'll see what happens next. I'm Ryan with Arizona Camp Life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.